Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be about how to start a successful Etsy shop. I have had a lot of requests for this video after showing you guys how I have my own Etsy shop, and it's a t-shirt shop in case you're interested. I always have the link down below in case you want to check out my shop. I recently changed the name of my shop. It was called Magically Made Tees and now it is called Hazel Market. And I changed my shop because when I first started my shop, it was more of park inspired shirts that were for family vacations and things like that. And recently I have just wanted to add tons more designs to my shop that are more everyday life or for moms, teachers. So a wide variety of things. And then I also wanted to add some more printed stuff, maybe some mugs or canvases, things like that that would go with my shop. So I decided to change my shop to Hazel Market just to make it a little bit more broad, and hopefully you guys like that. And the name just made a little bit more sense. I didn't want to go with my name just because I didn't really want my name to be on my shop name. But I do have hazel eyes, and I thought a market would be a fun way to include lots of different types of items. So hopefully you guys like the name and check it out if you are interested. So I've been doing Etsy for about 2 years now, and I have kind of figured out a few things that I think would help you guys if you are interested in making an Etsy shop, and kind of show you what would make it a little bit more successful from the get-go. I also have a lot of other things to share about Etsy because I had several questions about how to start a t-shirt shop or what do you need to do t-shirts, things like that. So I'm definitely going to be making more videos about Etsy. So this will kind of be a series of videos about my Etsy shop. So if you do have any questions, definitely leave them down in the comments below and I can include the answers to some of the other videos. But in today's video, I'm just going to keep it very broad, and it's going to be all about starting an Etsy shop and how to make it successful with no matter what you are selling in your shop, not just t-shirts. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. So obviously the first thing that you want to do when you decide you want to start an Etsy shop is to figure out what you're going to be selling. So this can be DIYs, this could be shirts, this could be anything printed. If you're good at designing, maybe you want to make invitations or birthday invites or greeting cards, whatever it is, you need to figure out what exactly you're good at, what you love doing, and what you're going to be selling. Along with what you're going to be selling, you need to make sure that you have enough time to devote to whatever you're wanting to sell. So for me, I was making t-shirts, so I had to make sure that I had enough time to actually make the shirts and keep up with orders. So I did give myself 1 to 2 weeks for all orders when I set all of my preferences in Etsy. Any of my customers can see that it takes 1 to 2 weeks for me to produce the item and then ship it out. But you need to decide, like, if you are going to make signs, do you have enough time to make those signs if you are working a full-time job? Do you need to make something that is going to take you a lot less time and you're going to be able to get a lot more out? If you're making a bunch of wood signs, like farmhouse signs for instance, and you think you need to give yourself a month, then you need to make sure that you set it up that way. Of course, you can start it out with maybe a week, and then if you're getting tons of orders in and you need to spread it out, then just make sure you change those preferences in your Etsy shop. Another thing that kind of goes along with what you're selling, you need to know what materials you're going to need and where you're going to store them. So if you are making PDFs and it's a downloadable product, then obviously you don't have to store anything, and that's awesome because you just need your computer. But if you're doing wood signs or shirts or anything else that requires you to hold products, then you need to make sure that you have somewhere to store them and you have the money to actually purchase that equipment. So after you have figured out what you're going to be selling, then you need to come up with a shop name. And I told you guys I had to change mine because it was all about t-shirts, and now I wanted to add a little bit more into my shop other than just t-shirts. And so kind of think about that when you get started. So you might want to keep it a little bit more broad in case you decide later to add more into your shop, or you could even open a separate shop if you wanted to. Another thing to consider when you think about your name is you want it to be short, simple, and easy to remember. So that way, if someone is going to tell their friend about your shop, it's easy to remember and they're not having to think of what your shop name was, and it's just super easy to find, to type in, all of that kind of stuff. Just the simpler, the better. The next thing that I would suggest for starting your shop is coming up with a bunch of listings before you actually open your shop. So maybe you want to do 10 listings. And then after you have those 10 listings edited and ready to go, pictures, descriptions, all that stuff, publish all of those at the same time, because Etsy likes the more orders you have, the more listings that you have, the more that your items are going to show up when people are searching for that type of item. So honestly, if you can even have more than 10 listings, then that's even better. I think when I started, I think I did about 10 listings, and it was okay. It kind of slowly started, but I realized that once I got over 100 listings in my shop, I started getting sales a lot quicker. Also, when you're creating those listings, you want to make sure that you are using the right titles, the right tags, and the right description for those items. You need to be thinking of what you would search for if you were looking for that item. So, for example, if I was looking for a fall t-shirt, then I might title my listing as fall graphic shirt for women. And then in the description box, I would leave a description trying to put those keywords in there as well. So I could say, if you want to find the perfect fall shirt for women, look no further. This tee is so soft and perfect for every woman, or whatever. You want to just use those words in there, and then also use those words in the tags as well. The next thing that you want to do to make your shop successful is get those first few sales as fast as possible, because Etsy loves to see things moving and going out of your shop. So what I did was I asked some of my friends if they would be willing to purchase my shirts at wholesale. So I made them pretty much for free, and I charged them exactly what it cost me to make the shirts, just so I could have some sales through my Etsy shop. So that's all that they ended up paying. But it looked like I was getting sales really quick right after opening my shop, and Etsy loves that. So they're gonna push out my orders. The more orders you have, the more your items are gonna come up in a search. They just love anything that has to do with your shop showing growth or showing that you are adding and constantly developing in your shop. And then my last tip for growing your business very fast on Etsy is to advertise. And you don't always have to pay for sponsored ads on Facebook or Instagram. In fact, I have never done that with any of my stuff on Etsy, but I have reached out to influencers, and they will get a free shirt, and then they would either share it in their Insta stories, or they would get pictures in it and post it on their Instagram accounts, and then that gets other people following your account on Instagram and also following your shop. It sends you kind of to where all of your stuff is, and they get kind of an overview of what you're doing, and it reaches a whole lot more people than you would have been able to at first. But I also shared it with all of my family, all of my friends, asked everybody to follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook, favorite my shop, because Etsy also likes that. If you have people favoriting your shop or favoriting your listings in your shop, that really helps too. So I definitely think the best way for you to start advertising is by asking influencers who would make sense with that kind of market. So if I wanted someone to wear a Mom Life t-shirt, I might reach out to an influencer on Instagram or on YouTube and ask them if they would be willing to take my shirt and show themselves in a picture on their Instagram account. If I was making farmhouse signs, I'd probably reach out to someone who had a huge following on Instagram that shows a lot of home decor or that type of style, and they could post about it on their Instagram. Things like that. So definitely reach out to people that are in your niche. Don't just reach out to some random influencer and just have them share whatever. I would definitely make sure that it went along with what you are selling. Alright guys, so those are all of my tips for how to grow a successful Etsy shop from the get-go. I hope that this video was very helpful for you guys, and I definitely plan on doing some more videos about Etsy. In particular, I know that I'm going to do a video all about how to start an Etsy shop doing vinyl t-shirts using your silhouette or your Cricut, and then I'll do another video on how I make t-shirts without touching a thing and having them all printed from a printing company and shipped out that way. So if you have any questions about Etsy at all, definitely leave me a comment down below and let me know your questions so I can answer them for you. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!